Hi everyone, I'm Anvi, and we are here today to discuss what is React. And I'm going to tell you what React is, how it works, why we use React, and some popular web apps that use React, and some important things that we should know as developers about React. So, React is an open source front end JavaScript library. React makes it very easy for developers to create single page web apps with reusable components. It's a library code which saves a lot of development time and cuts down the chances of errors. We will discuss more about JSX Virtual DOM and some more important things that make React so great. Uh, React basically makes your code effective and efficient. It allows a developer to create web apps in which if uh, if data changes, we don't need to reload the page. Its main purpose is to be fast, scalable, and simple. So, why React? Its main purpose is to be fast, scalable, and simple. So, the component based approach and well-defined lifecycle use of plain.js makes it very easy to learn as well. It has a single way data flow. So the values are passed down to components and these values are immutable, so they cannot be changed. Uh, they cannot be modified directly, but we can definitely pass callback functions so that we can have the properties flow down and the actions flows up. We have reusable components. Of course, it makes easier to code. As I mentioned earlier, we don't need to repeat our code and use any component anywhere. So if you have a component that's used at the very start of your website and you have to use it at the end of your website as well, as these components are independent, you don't need to worry about writing the same code again and again, and it can be used without any problems. So it is declarative. What do you mean by declarative? So, declarative means we can describe the UI and tell React what we want and not how to do it. We don't need to worry about how to do it. We just tell React how to do what to do, and it does it. It also has native approach, so it can also be used to create mobile apps. And extensive code reusability की वजह से we can make iOS and Android and web apps all together. It's very easy to test. So React is very popular. Right now, it's very widely used and it is implemented in various web apps that we use and know. Some of them are Facebook, WhatsApp Web, Netflix, and Dropbox. If we take a look at Dropbox website, we can see that it's divided into components. We can see that here this header is a component, this this part is a component, this is a component, and this particular component is used so many times. If we were to write this code in plain JS and HTML CSS, we would have to write the same code again and again and again. But using React, we can just write it once and use it throughout the application anywhere we want. So how does it work? In plain JS apps, it usually starts with initial UI, and that UI is created on the server as HTML. Whereas React app starts with a blank HTML and dynamically creates the initial state in JS. So React is not just React. We use React with a combination of other tools, namely Babel, Node, NPM, Webpack, and JSX. Babel is mainly used to convert ECMAScript code, ECMAScript 5 plus code into backward compatible versions of JS. It doesn't matter if that code is not compatible with your browser, Babel will turn it into a compatible version of code. If we take a look at the code, it's it's very simple. There's not much to it. Here we have JSX inside JavaScript. This is HTML inside JavaScript, and this is JavaScript inside HTML. It's very easy. But before thinking about that, let's come back to Babel. So React is not just React, it's a network of tools. Here we have dependencies. We are using so many things with React. Package.json is basically a file that holds all the information about everything we are using with React. If we look at the structure of the folder, we have node modules. These modules are what holds the third party libraries we use. So if you're using anything extra other than whatever is provided by React, such as any libraries, material UI, or anything that's stored in node modules. The public folder holds your HTML file, which doesn't have anything other than a single div with an ID of root. We connect this div using we connect this div with JavaScript, and we render our whole app into that div. So it's basically a tree-like structure. The root component is app, and we call all the other components in here. So it's basically like a tree. There's app and there's other components, and that's how the data flow works. So much like the structure of the tree, wait a second. So what does React need to do? To render a to render a website, React needs to understand when and what changes. So when a basic HTML document has a DOM. A DOM stands for document object model. So the DOM is the structure of the HTML. Okay. So in React, we don't need to manipulate the DOM directly. React has a feature called a virtual DOM. This virtual DOM understands what changed, understands what changes we made, and then it searches the previous state to know where we need to make a change. That change, see, basically, when there was no React, you needed to traverse the whole document tree, whole DOM tree, and find where things change. You had to change the whole thing. So, changing the whole website and changing just a single part for just a single small detail is not really efficient. What virtual DOM does is it compares the two states, the change state and the previous state, and locates the object which is changed. So the virtual DOM then sends that data to the real DOM, and only that particular object is changed. So instead of reloading and changing the whole website, you're only changing a small part of it. It makes it much faster and efficient. And this is how React reacts to state changes. That's why React is named React, because it reacts to every single state change. What is state? You'll ask. So state is an object that holds information that may change over the lifetime of a component. So components are these basically. Here we saw an app that we divided into so many parts. We saw in Dropbox that it could be divided into rectangular boxes that may be components. So for every single component, there's a lifetime. Okay, if anything changes during that lifetime, that change is in state. State is always the single source of truth. That's that's a rule in React. State is always the single source of truth. That means that everything that changes should be in the state. Everything that changes is according to the state, and it's not directly changeable. We only change it if there's a change in the website. So it keeps in sync. But if it's the single source of truth, it also needs an initial state. So there's always an initial state. If now we have seen that it's a tree like structure. Okay, there's app and there's component. So what if two components need to share a piece of data or need to communicate in some way? For that, for that, there should be a state. If this is how the state change takes place. Now, if this is a component, one second. So if this is a component that needs to communicate with this one, we'll need to keep the state here. So the state doesn't reside in every single component. That won't be efficient. If there are two components that need the same data, same piece of data, then that piece of data is stored in state in their common parent. So it can be passed down as props to this component as well as this component. We discussed that props, that information is passed down as props and it's immutable. So we cannot change props. But what do we do if we want to change the state? Because if there's a like button on Facebook, you click on that and it changes a lot of other things. It changes the number of likes, it changes the color of that button. So, how does that work? A callback function takes that information and then it changes state. So, here you pass it down to props and then the state you pass a callback function and then it changes the state. According to that, it again through props, it the value is updated throughout the tree. These 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 props are properties that we pass down as data. Okay, they should not be modified. We saw previously that they should not be modified. Okay, so it's a single way data flow, as we discussed earlier. What about other frameworks and libraries that are there apart from React? There is Redux. Redux is another library of JS which is used to manage state and is widely used with other libraries and frameworks, including JS. So we saw how state works. Okay, state is an object that stores information about any particular object. So if we need to pass it down to another component, if there are two components that are not directly connected, okay, if there are two components that are not directly component connected, like this one and this one, so we'll need to keep the state here and it will be passed down as props to other components that don't really need it. So what Redux does is it makes it easier for us to the store access the state from any place without having to pass it down as props. Okay. Then there's Angular. Angular is a framework of JS. It changes static HTML to dynamic, and it's just pure JS and HTML. I'm not very knowledgeable about Angular, but it's just another framework that can be used instead of React. There's also Next. It is a React framework that uses server-side rendering. It So what happens in React is we use client-side rendering. So what the SEO bots? SEO is basically search engine optimization. So when someone searches something, the SEO bots search for your code, search through your code, but it cannot understand JS, so it needs to be converted into HTML. So what happens in React is it takes time to convert it into HTML. But in Next, it's server side rendering, so it's already converted into HTML, and that makes it more readable to SEO bots and also renders it faster. So it's much better for rendering. Okay. We discussed what other things are other tools are used with React. Let us see what they are. Babel. So we saw that most of the code is in JSX. Okay, JSX is basically Java, HTML embedded in JavaScript, and then JavaScript embedded in HTML. How does this work? So basically, it's like this. We know that this code doesn't use JSX, but it can still be used with React. It's like when we write JSX, that is then converted into JavaScript and then to HTML. This transcompiling is done by Babel because our browsers cannot basically understand what JSX is. So Babel is important. Babel converts the JavaScript, the JSX to JavaScript, and then JavaScript to HTML. Then Node is Node allows us to we saw what Node modules are. It holds the third party libraries and everything else we need. Then there's npm. Npm is Node package manager. It basically lets you install or update those third party packages that are stored in Node module. And Webpack is a bundler. You're writing so much code. There's so much code. You can see that it's so much. It will take too much time to load this much code in your website. So what Webpack does is it bundles up your big files and compresses it into small packages to optimize load time. Okay. We just now saw what JSX is. So yeah, if the state changes in a particular part, the virtual DOM checks which other parts are changed because of that one change, and then it only passes down what needs to be changed. Okay, the real DOM doesn't need to compute it. That's it. Thank you.